Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Identify yourself if you come in the building. Thank you for jumping on today. Thank you for jumping on today. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for jumping on at this time here on tonight for another book review broadcast of Marriage is Not for Everyone. Thank you for joining us here on the Thursday night. Press the like, press that share button. Good to see you in the building. Good evening, Brother Charles Lewis. Good to see you. Please press that like, please press that share button on today. Identify yourselves as you come into the building. Press that like, press that share button. Send it to somebody right now that you think will may enjoy this broadcast. Good evening, everyone. They come into the building. Good to see y'all. Press that like, press that share button on tonight. This is a book review broadcast of Marriage is Not for Everyone. Thank you for jumping on. Thank you for logging on. I pray that everyone had a blessed day, a blessed evening, a blessed time. And as you come in, identify yourself, press your like and that share button on tonight. Tag somebody. Let us know that we are on here tonight and that something's going to be said or done on tonight that's going to bless your soul. Also, too, I told you on tonight, if you would like to be a part of this broadcast as we discuss some important topics, let me know. And I want to plug you in. I want you to jump online with me and we can discuss some various topics on tonight. Before we get started on tonight, also, too, if you have any prayer requests, even though this is a book review, you have any prayer requests, put it in the comment section and let us know that we want to pray for you on tonight. Press that like, press that share button. And if y'all don't mind, go ahead and send it out to some people on tonight. Let them know that the book review is about to start and it's about to get on and popping. I pray that everyone had a blessed week. I pray that everyone's soul has been blessed during this week. During this time of the book review, you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, any input, if you don't mind, put that in the comment section and I want to dialogue with you. Also, too, thank you for those that have bought a copy of this book. I greatly appreciate it. And for those who want to get a copy of this book, it is www.kkhbooks.com, www.kkhbooks.com. Everybody, when y'all come into the building, identify yourselves. Share this with somebody on tonight. Let's have a fun time on tonight in the Lord. If you enjoyed last week's or the week before last time we had a book review, put that in the chat that you enjoyed our last time on together. And I want to make sure that each week that we continue to build upon what we've done before. Pray that you're having a good week. I appreciate it. The book is nothing but truth. Pray that you had a great week on this week. And before we get started, let me go ahead and drop the video on for you. Let me put it in the chat too, www.kkhbooks.com. We have ebooks going on right now for $10. If you want to get a copy of that, send it to somebody. It is blessing people's souls on tonight. For everyone that jumped on, press that like, press that share button. And we pray tonight this will be an outstanding topic. Love can cost you everything. Before we go to the video, as I do every week, if you don't mind, in the comment section, identify your relationship status on tonight. If you're married, you're single, you're divorced, you're seeking marriage, put that in the comment section before we get started. This is a book that applies to everyone, so everyone can get something from this book and it can bless everyone's soul. So put that in your comment section right now. And thank you. There we go. We got a couple people coming in. There you go. And we're going to get going on tonight. Let me respond to this message. Somebody reached out to me. All right. Seeking marriage. Okay. We got married people. We got people seeking marriage. All right, great. As they come in, put it in the comment section what you are as far as your relationship status on the night. Marriage, seeking marriage. Good evening. Good to see you, Brother Chris. Put your relationship status in the section right now. Press that like, press that share button. We got a lot of married people on tonight. Great. We're going to have a great time. And before we do that, let's go to the video on tonight. Marriage is not for everyone. www.kk. Did you know that over 50% of marriages start at the altar but end up in the courtroom? Hi, my name is Kasin, the author of Marriage is Not for Everyone. In this book, I detail that some people should stay single, others should get married, and some people should never get married again. Please grab a copy of this book. I would rather for you to spend $10 on this book than spend $10,000 on alimony. Marriage is not for everyone. Thank you for everyone that jumped on. Let's get it on and popping. This is a book called Marriage is Not for Everyone. This relationship books deal with every topic possible that you can think of. It deals with marriage. It deals with divorce. It deals with money. It deals with sex. It deals with communication. It deals with every ramification, physical assets, physical ability, anything you can think of. This book is for you. It is a practical book that suggests, as the title says, marriage is not for everyone. For those that's going to watch later on, and for those who are on right now, let me go over a couple of things of what I like to call the groundwork before we get started. Many people ask me, why did I write this book? Why did I write this book? I wrote this book because through observation and also a counseling and ministry and being around various people, I began to notice a pattern that many people was more enamored with weddings than actually being married. They was enamored more with being in weddings than actually being enamored than the actual marriage. And it was one evening I was up at night and I was studying, doing some writing on this, and I began to go on IG and go through a couple of hashtags. And I went through the hashtag database and I did a juxtaposition or a comparison of what the hashtags was relevant within IG posts. And I noticed something very alarming on the IG post that you see at the bottom of your screen, that when it actually came to the idea of a wedding, the numbers were off the chart. The numbers were off the chart. The first thing I put in the IG database at the bottom of your screen is hashtag wedding dress, 34.7 million. Hashtag wedding cake, 7.3 million. Hashtag wedding photography, 30.8 million. Hashtag wedding hair, 7.1 million. I want y'all to see on the screen. When I put the hashtags in, I did a juxtaposition of actually the wedding based hashtag compared to marriage counseling, and this is what I got. So as you see it, there were 34.7 million people interested in wedding dresses, 7.3 interested in wedding cakes, wedding photography, 30.8 million, and wedding hair, 7.1 million. Then when I went further, I said, hold up, let's compare that to actually wedding counseling or premarital courses. You got it at the bottom of the screen. Watch this. Watch how the number dropped precipitously. It jumped from millions dealing with wedding dress, but watch the hashtag in premarital counseling. It is fewer than 100 posts. Premarriage counseling, 500 posts. If y'all see that, put in the comments. I see where you're going. If you see that, put in the comments. For those that jumped on, I'm talking about how the substratum of this book is that many people are enamored with the idea of a wedding, but not the actual marriage. In the database on IG, it was a steep comparison when you deal with the idea of weddings. You're dealing with 34.7 million, 7.3 million, 30.8 million, 7.1 million. Then when you go to premarital counseling, watch how the number drop. It drops down to less than 100 posts. Premarital counseling, 500 posts. We have a problem tonight because here we go. This is the basis of this book. We have to get out of the mindset of being enamored with the wedding when the wedding has nothing to do with the sustainability of a marriage. All right. So this book is an advisory book for those who are not married, those who are getting married, to understand, what am I actually getting myself into? When the wedding is over, the honeymoon is done, what am I actually getting myself into concerning a marriage? That's why the title of the book is Marriage is Not for Everyone. So if those who are single on tonight, you have to resolve to yourself, you have to ask yourself, is marriage actually for me? It does not make you a bad person. It does not make you not in the will of God. It does not make you crazy. But some people have to ask themselves, is marriage for me? And marriage is not. Then for those who are married, you need the wisdom to maintain the marriage outside of a wedding setting. Here we go. This is my point when I start off with, which means on these posts, fewer than 100 posts deal with premarital counseling, pre-marriage counseling, 500 posts, which means that we are not doing the work in order for us to keep our marriages together. If I'm making sense, let me know I'm making sense in the comment section, and I will not go further. Let me know if I'm making sense. So we have to do the work. We have to do the work before we actually get married, and then we have to do the work while we getting married. Oftentimes, we put the carriage before the horse, and we spend most of our time dealing with the ambiance of a wedding dress, the cakes, the photography, all the opulence that comes with creating a wedding atmosphere, but we do not do the lead work of premarital counseling of, who am I actually getting married to? Who am I actually getting married to? So on tonight, for those who are considering marriage, you need to ask yourself, am I willing to put the time, the energy, the effort in premarital counseling? All right. It's not sexy. It doesn't look good. You can't share it on Facebook. But in premarital counseling is the time when you're in a relationship. It is what I like to call, it is boot camp. It is boot camp. If y'all don't mind, put that in the comment section. Premarital counseling is boot camp. Y'all don't mind, put that in the comment section. Premarital counseling is boot camp. Thank you for those that just jumped on tonight. I'm glad to see you. Press that like, press that share button, send it to somebody. Premarital counseling is boot camp. It is a regimen that you must be willing to come together in and deal with the issues that you're trying to avoid. All right. It is a boot camp. All right. We got a question. There we go. I've heard it's important to get premarital counseling, but when do you personally think is a good time after the engagement or before? I would suggest after the engagement, because after the engagement, you have clear intentions of what you're trying to do. Premarital counseling is good after the engagement. All right. Because both of you are on the same page. He has proposed to you. It is a clear understanding that we are working towards marriage. All right. There's no point of having premarital counseling before the engagement when there's no ring that has been presented, there has been no proposal. Make sure that, watch this, premarital counseling happens in your relationship. Now, thank you. That y'all a good class. Premarital counseling is boot camp. Premarital counseling is boot camp. Now listen, in premarital counseling and this boot camp, I need you to hear me carefully. You must be willing to be 100% honest, even if it hurts your feeling. It will help you sustain in the long run. I'll repeat that again. In premarital counseling, you must be willing to even get your feelings hurt in order to sustain your relationship in the long run. Premarital counseling is not designed for each party to feel good or comfortable. But premarital counseling is this. There are band-aids in your relationship that you're trying to cover up wounds that need to be exposed so it can be properly healed. I would rather for you to argue in premarital counseling than to argue in litigation because you're going through a divorce. So for those who are considering marriage, hear me carefully, your premarital counseling should be a time in which you peel off the band-aid and go to the innermost issues of your relationships. You must be willing to discuss what is uncomfortable so that when you get married, you will have a comfortable existence. It is a strange dichotomy. Most oftentimes, people want to be comfortable, but they don't want to address the uncomfortable issues. What are some uncomfortable issues on tonight? How do you manage money? What are some uncomfortable issues? What is your view of marriage and sex? What are some uncomfortable issues? Whose house are we going to live in? What are some uncomfortable issues? How do you feel about taking care of my children? What are some uncomfortable issues? How are we going to work through the child support? All of these things, hear me carefully, they must be, watch this, discussed in premarital counseling. And in premarital counseling, because it's boot camp, it's going to hurt. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's not designed for you to feel good. Well, premarital counseling is designed for you, watch this, to tear down strategically in order for you to build up and manifest the relationship that you want. All right? Hear me careful on today. There we go. I like that. Another one. Yeah, blended families. Another issue you got to deal with. So on tonight, before I go any further, in the comment section, before I go any further, what some of the things that you people watching tonight, you think is important to discuss in premarital counseling? Put that in the comment section. What are some things that you think is very important to discuss in premarital counseling? All right. Now, in this premarital counseling situation, it is your job, because this is counseling, to be transparent and not worry about the optics of how do I look in front of the counselor. The counselor is your emotional, psychological, physical, spiritual therapist or surgeon who is designed to help you to come to a place of healing. And we cannot heal or cure what you refuse to address. I'm going to say it again. We cannot heal or cure what you refuse to address. All right. There we go. All right. I need y'all comments. Give me some comments. What should be discussed in premarital counseling? I got one. All right. Give me two more and we can get it going. If I'm making sense, let me know if I'm making sense. I like to slow down because I want you to get it. How to deal with arguments as a married couple versus being single. I love it. So let's go. We're going to play premarital counseling on tonight. We're going to play premarital counseling on tonight. All right. One of the first rules you understand in marriage is marriage versus being single. In most cases, when you have arguments while being single, because you're not bound by a covenant or even legally, you can leave that person, leave the residence, leave the whole relationship alone because you are not married or binded legally or through the covenant, which how you view your relationship. All right. So while single, you're able to have a relationship and not talk to the person for 5 to 10 days. While single, you can say, I'm taking a break. I'm blocking you on IG or Facebook. Now, I need y'all to put in this comment section. I said it last time, marriage is for grown people. But when you are married, hear me carefully, when you are married, you have to learn how to manage your emotions even when you are not agreeing with each other. What does that look like? Which means if I don't get along with what you're saying or doesn't agree with what you're saying, that doesn't mean I have to abnegate my husband or wife duties because I don't like what you're saying. Many of us on tonight, hear me carefully, many of us are not good at communicating, but we're good at being passive aggressive. I'm gonna say it again. Let me know if I'm making sense. Many of us are not good at communicating, but many of us are good at being passive aggressive. So here it goes. Instead of you addressing the issue at hand, watch this. You suck your teeth, you sigh, your body language change, you refuse to cook, you refuse to have sex, you don't want to talk, you don't want to be involved, instead of addressing the situation that's at hand. All right. So when you're married, you have to learn how to sometimes agree to disagree, but still work together to be agreeable. You do not have to agree with everything when you're in a marriage. Sometimes your marriage only grows when you do disagree, because disagreements make you look at things from a different perspective. I don't like people around me that agree with everything I say, but I like people that are sometimes disagreeable because it sharpens my mindset concerning a situation. All right. If that makes sense, let me know. Great teaching. I appreciate it, Jasmine. I'm trying tonight. I'm trying. All right. Number 2, Brother Ben says, should you tell your family members your business whenever you get into a group? No, not at all. No, not at all. All right. In the book, let me go to the book. I'm back to the book. You don't have a copy, grab you one. That's my shameless plug. Grab you one. All right. In the book, the chapter before the last chapter, I have a chapter called Family Members Won't Forget. Family members won't forget. All right. Family members won't forget. Hear me carefully on today. He asked a critical question. Should you tell your family members your business when you disagree and argue? This is one of the worst things you can ever do in a marriage. Why is that? Because when you involve other people in your marriage, it's hard to get them. It's easy to get them in, but it's harder to get them out of your business. Let me say it again. It's easy to get people into your business, but it's hard to get them out of your business. Number 2, when you involve people in your marriage, especially family members, as the chapter said, family members won't forget, which means that you may now reconcile with your spouse over an issue that was a minor flare-up, but in their mind, they're still looking through the filters of who you portrayed that person to be. But the reality of it is, when we often tell our story, we don't give the complete picture, but we play the hero and make the other person look like the villain. Not all the time, but most of the time. So what happens now, you have now moved past that situation. You have a harmonious relationship. Y'all loving each other. Everything's going well. Now you go to the barbecue. Your sister, your brother, your cousin is looking at them jaded, but you can't get an attitude with them because you're the one that decided to put them into your relationship. So when you're married or even dating, you have to have safeguards around your relationship. You have to have safeguards around your relationship. Why is that? When you ride roller coasters, any of you rode roller coasters, you know this. When you ride roller coasters, hear me carefully. When you ride roller coasters, the more traditional roller coasters only had 2 seats in them. The traditional roller coasters only had 2 seats in them. All right. It was you and whatever the partner you decide to be with. And before you took off on this roller coaster ride, the first thing they would do, they would walk around and make sure that both parties involved, are securely tucked in. You raise up your arms, they push down the lever, they shake it to make sure you're securely tucked in. This is what marriage is. You both agree to get on the roller coaster together. You decide to get married. Number two, you put up your hand saying, I surrender. I want to be securely tucked in with the person I decided, listen carefully, to ride this roller coaster with that is full of ups and downs. All right? Ups and downs. You already know when you're on a roller coaster, there's going to be some highs, there's going to be some lows. But the objective is, can I stick with you on these highs and lows until we meet our destination? Hear me carefully. Hear me carefully. The destination does not change. The only thing that changes is if you decide to get out of it or to stay in it. Before the roller coaster goes off, the announcer gets on and say 3, 2, 1. Is everyone ready? At that point, before you get married, you have to decide, do I want to ride this roller coaster with you or I don't want to ride this roller coaster with you? It's just me and you. It's just me and you. All right? The objective is now, after you decide to ride a roller coaster, you have to stick in it together until you reach your destination. All right? It's only two people. You can't involve another person in it. You can't let no one sit in the middle, because the roller coaster was never designed, the original roller coasters were never designed to have 3 people in the roller coaster. It was only 2 seats. The problem with many of us is we get a thing called marriage. It's full of ups and downs and roller coasters. But our problem is we're talking to the person in front. We're talking to the person behind. And many of you, if you are savants in roller coasters, you know this. If you roll roller coasters, there are different feelings that you get based upon how you seat on the roller coaster. All right? A feeling on the front feels different than riding in the back. The middle feels different than the back or the front. All right? And on a roller coaster, it is your job to look forward, stay committed, stay connected till you reach your destination. Your relationship is going to fall apart if you do not learn how to safeguard your relationships, because every relationship, whether good or bad, is inevitable that you have high moments and you have low moments. But the key to marriage is, can I stay with you even when we have low moments? I can't just stay around when we have high moments, but can I stay with you in sickness? Can I stay with you when you're not financially inept? Can I stay with you when we have issues outside of our house? Can I stay with you when our families don't see eye to eye? That's the key of marriage. But it's your job, hear me carefully, it is your job to make sure you stay on the roller coaster together because you decide to get on there. All right? If that makes sense, let me know. Great question. So listen, we have to safeguard our relationships. Relationships are investments. Relationships are investments. Relationships are investments. There's no one on here tonight. I don't care how much money you have. There's no one here on tonight who is going to put their bank account and their routing number and their balance on tonight's stream. All right? Because it's your money, it's your livelihood, it's your investment, it is your account. All right? Anything that has value has passwords, has security codes. There are parameters in which you cannot go by unless you have the language to go past those parameters. Hear me carefully on tonight. And relationships is the same thing. So, all right, let's go forward. Y'all a good class. All right. So now we have to ask ourselves on tonight, in premarital counseling, what are we looking for? What are we trying to do? Where are we trying to head? What type of work that we're trying to get in? All right. So now in the book, I have something called a relationship dictionary. And the word I want to deal with on tonight, is this: complacentship. It is complacentship. It is complacentship. It is complacentship. Hear me carefully. Complacentship, in the book, I put this in the book. These are creative or figurative analogies I like to use to make clarity on very basic points. Complacentship is based upon longevity and not sincere love. Usually, this relationship will not dissolve until unforeseen circumstances arise. Staying together, this is the part I want to deal with. Staying together is more convenient than starting over. All right. I want to say it again. Staying together is more convenient than starting over. Complacency. In the book, I suggest in dating, also in marriage, you have to identify what type of relationship you are in. All right. We are all in relationships, but how we articulate those relationships is the key of how we manage our relationships. Here on tonight, I want you to hear me. If you're single on tonight, you should not get married because it is convenient. I'm going to say it again. You should not get married because it's convenient. I don't like it. It's uncomfortable. He or she is nagging. They get on my nerves. I'm not attracted to them. We're not sexually involved. The conversation is stale. I'm not stimulated intellectually, but I stay with them because it's convenient. All right? Because starting over causes me more energy than moving on. So I'm going to stay here because it is convenient. All right? Complacency. Look at the first part I put. The first sentence I say, it is based upon longevity and not sincere love. What do you mean by that? Some of you can be honest on today. When I get this analogy, I want you to put in the comment section. I can relate to that. There are some jobs that we kept because it was comfortable. We knew the metrics of it. We can do it with our eyes closed, but the money wasn't good. But because we were comfortable doing something that was easy and we knew the people around us, we didn't feel the sense of urgency to move on from the job. The job still paid the bills. The job still offered the benefits. The job still put us in position to do what we need to do, but we stayed in the job because of longevity, not sincere love. All right? Just because it's long don't make it right, and just because it's short, it doesn't mean it's wrong. I'm going to say it again. Just because it's long, it does not make it right, and just because it's short does not mean it's wrong. Many of you, I told you this before, my mother and my father, they dated for 9 months. They dated for 9 months, and they was married near 32 years. They dated for 9 months. They was married near 32 years. Watch this. They had a short dating period, but they had a long marriage. On the flip side, there are people that are dating for 20 years and then are married for 2. Longevity does not mean it's sincere love, but sometimes longevity can be a sense of complacency that, watch this, hear me carefully, y'all don't want to hear this. I really don't want you, but I don't want anyone else to have you. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to slow down. Let me see my comments. Y'all crazy. I really don't want you, but I don't want anyone else to have you. And because I'm complacent, I'd rather be miserable than to see you happy, because misery loves company. You have to ask yourself on tonight. If you had better options, would you take it? If you had better options, would you take it? You should not be around someone, hear me carefully, you should not be around someone because this is all you have available now. All right? This is what happens. When you're with someone based upon convenience, when what you really want arrives, you're now willing to risk it all to have it because you've been sustaining in a level of convenience, and now your appetite is salivating after what you wanted the whole time. All right? So you should never miss out on a blessing. You should never miss out on a right man or woman because you're afraid to walk away from something that's convenient when you know in your heart, she knows in her heart, he knows in her heart, this is not us. We're just doing this because we can pay rent together. We're just doing this because we're comfortable. We're just doing this because our family loves each other. All right? All right, let's see. There we go. Y'all make me feel like I'm a counselor, and I appreciate it. Your thoughts on people getting married just because their partner became pregnant. I see so much in our generation. All right. I love the question. If I'm making sense, let me know I'm making sense on tonight. You should never get married to someone because you, watch this, they are pregnant. All right. You should never get married to someone because they are pregnant. let me deal with the dualistic ideology of this. Number one, in a church setting, this has become very dangerous. In the book, I put something called religionship. Y'all put that in the chat. It's called religionship. Many people in church sometimes, they have sex with someone, premarital sex, or what theologians or Christians call fornication for those who are not believers. They have sex with someone prematurely. They get them pregnant. So to try to cover the sin, they then now go marry them, acting as if we can't count the time in which the child is born. We already know you had a child out of what they call wedlock. All right. So now you're doing this based upon religionship. I don't want my pastor looking at me crazy. I don't want them to judge me. I don't want them to be in my business. So now I'm going to get married to try to cover up my action of fornication. But now I'm marrying someone. Hear me carefully. I'm marrying someone I'm not designed to love or to be married with for a child. All right. A child is not going to keep your marriage together. A child can get you married, but a child is not going to keep your marriage together. If I'm making sense, y'all let me know if I'm making sense. Let me say it again. A child can get you married, but a child will not keep your marriage together. All right. So now, after you have the child, what do you do when you're married to a person that really was a lustful physical interaction, but now we're trying to make it a spiritual covenant? It's not going to work. Hear me carefully. I would rather for you to have a child, premarital sex, have a child before you get married. Repent of it. If that's your religious belief, repent of it. Take care of your child and move on, instead of have a child, then play as if we're going to get married together. God told you my husband, my wife, and now you're married and you're miserable. All right. One of the quotes I put in the book, it says, I would rather be single than to be married to a mistake. Let me say it again. I would rather be single than to be married to a mistake. So anyone watching here online tonight, hear me carefully. If that's your religious belief about premarital sex, if you get pregnant, if that person not designed to be your covenant husband or wife, repent of it, move on. Y'all come together to take care of your child. Do not get married because you're trying to save face. Hear me carefully. With people in church who also had many of us before they got married. All right. All the mothers on the front row did not get married when they had their children. 80% of the pastors were not married when they had their children. So now we get into a situation where we're trying to have optics that look good, but we're not actually dealing with the actual what it takes to be married. If that makes sense, let me know if that makes sense. You do not need to get married over getting pregnant. It is the worst decision that you can make. If you do get pregnant and you know that you and that other person cannot work it out, y'all need to be mature and say, hey, we're not meant to be with each other, but God brought us together or allowed us together to have a beautiful child. Now, what can we do together to birth the reality of this child in a healthy environment? All right. If that makes sense, let me know if that makes sense. Any more questions? Good question. Y'all can jump in here. All right. So complacency. For those that jumped on, press that like, press that share button, press that like, press that share button. Complacency. All right. You have to ask yourself, am I in it because of convenience, or am I in it because I actually love you? Am I in it because I'm getting older, and I want to get married? Or am I in it because I actually love you? Am I in it because I need to change my profile or my status? Or am I in it because I actually know this is who God wants me to be with? You have to ask yourself these questions. All right, let's go through here. Good class. Y'all have any more questions? Put it in the comment. All right. Now, this is what I want to deal with. It was interesting today. I was reading, y'all hear me carefully. I was reading my Bible app devotion. And often when I read my Bible app devotion, I go to the search engine. And the search engine on the Bible app, hear me carefully, on the Bible app, it has the top searches on the engine. It blew my mind today because y'all won't believe it. The top search on a Bible app today was the topic of sex. If y'all hear me, y'all let me know if y'all hear me. The top search engine on the Bible app today was sex. Number 2, it was finding the heart of God. All right. I want y'all to hear me. This is a Bible app. All right. This is not a dating app. This is a Bible app. So watch this. You have people who are saved, who are spiritual, who are religious, but they're on a Bible app trying to gain wisdom or understanding about sex. All right. This is why tonight I gave a topic, and one of the chapters says, looks can cost you everything. Hear me carefully on tonight. Looks is a major component, and we cannot deny it when we're considering going into a marriage. It is a major component. You have to be physically attracted to a person. Don't give me they speaking in tongues. Don't give me their prayer life, their fasting, how much money they make, who they're connected to, what college they went to. The first thing, we have to all be honest with ourselves. We have to be honest with ourselves that attraction is a necessary component. But in relationships or in dating, we cannot just stop at the looks, but we have to go past the shallow pool of looks and deal with the substance of an individual. We can't just stop at looks. Many of us are enamored with the looks of a person, but we don't understand the character of the person. We don't understand the integrity of a person. We don't understand the intellectual capacity of a person. This is the reality. When you are dating someone based upon looks, when you get to really know them, and that's your prerequisite, once you get to know them, those looks will fade. Those looks will fade. And then we're going to go ahead and I'll be done. Now we got 17 more minutes and I'll be done. So tonight, I want y'all to hear me carefully. Looks is a necessary component, but listen, I don't want you to stop there just at looks. All right? Because many of us, and we'll be honest on tonight, we made bad decisions in relationships because we were looking at the physical stature of an individual, but we did not recognize who they were internally. All right? We did not look at who they were internally. We only looked at their physical attributes. So you like their curve, you like their size, you like their height, you like their weight, you like their tattoos, you love their hair, you love their physical prowess, but you did not get the time to sit back and say, what do you actually believe? What makes you tick? What motivates you? What is your character? Do you have compassion on people? So I want to slow down right through here. All right. In the comment section, I want to ask a question. Outside of a physical attributes, what internal attribute that you would like your person who you're seeking marriage for to have, or the person that you're currently married to? What are you attracted to that cannot be touched or seen? All right. Hear me carefully. What can you be attracted to that cannot be touched or seen? Put that in the comment section right now. What motivates you? What moves you that's not tangible that that person can possess that you find attractive? All right. Because if you're going to just stop at physical attributes, your relationship is not going to work. What happens when they get older and gain weight? What happens if an accident happens? What happens if a disease hits their body? What happens as just natural time matriculates and they get wrinkles and gray hair, all of the natural processes of life? What can you say I'm moved by or motivated by that's not tangible? All right, I'm gonna get back to your question, being I love it. Miss Presley said work ethic. That's a good one. That's a good one. You cannot marry lazy people. You cannot marry lazy people. You need to have work ethics because marriage is a job. Y'all don't mind, put that in the comment section. Marriage is a job. If you do not have a work ethic, you will not have the attributes to keep a marriage together. All right, let's see our next comment. But focus not on the package, but factor in the content in the package. I love it. I'm gonna get back to that. I put that in the book. I'm gonna get back to that. I like that one. All right. Next one. I love that. How they treat and talk to people. I love it. One of my biggest pet peeves of an individual, especially a woman can be the finest woman that ever walked the earth, but if she handled people wrongly, if she talks to people, she's rude, she's condescending, it is a complete turnoff. How do you treat and talk to people? I love it. Gentleness and patience. These are great attributes. In marriage, you need gentleness and patience. All right. I'm attracted to the mind of a person, the way they think and process things. I feel emotional. Others often understand that their mind matters to me. Okay, I love that. I love that. I love that. All right. So here we go. Here on tonight. So as you see, as everyone is putting comments in the comment section, hear me carefully. Each person has an intangible attribute that moves them, that compels them to marriage or in their marriage. Your marriage will not sustain if you're just going to focus on the physical attribute of a person. This is why oftentimes men have to be honest, even men that's on here tonight that have children or those seeking women to have children with. As a woman goes through the process of having a child, her body changes drastically. It changes drastically. Her face may fill out. She may have stretch marks. She may have the pigmentation of her skin may alter to be even darker. There are certain attributes that you may have seen initially that may change now that she's married because she's had your child. All right. It is not your job as the man then to say, I'm not physically moved by you anymore, because that's a part of life and nature's process. But can I stay with you? Hear me carefully. Even when your physical attributes are altered, because I didn't marry you just for the physical. The physical was the initial bait that drew me to you, but that attributes that you have that is inside of you that sustains, hear me carefully, the sustainability of the relationship. I love it. I love it. This is a big one. Admitting when you're at fault. Admitting when you're at fault. All right. I'm about to hurt somebody's feeling on tonight. Hear me carefully. There are two words that could have saved many marriages, many families, save people from getting on child support, who can save the entire structure. There are two words on tonight that I'm going to say to you tonight that many of you may be upset about because you feel with pride and ego. It is, I'm sorry. I'm going to put that, say it again. Y'all can put that in the chat. It's two words that could save your marriage, your relationship, and your family. It is, I'm sorry. All right. If you have ego, if you have pride, if you feel as if you're the sharpest knife in the drawer, do not get married, because egos will not last in marriage. They only lead you to divorce court. Sometimes you have to say, I'm sorry. All right. The pride in you will cause you to be alone and miserable just because you refuse to say, I'm sorry. It does not make you weak. Saying I'm sorry is acknowledging that I was wrong, you was right. Let's go forward based upon where I'm admitting my wrong. It's okay for you to say I'm sorry. That does not make you weak. You do not know everything. You do not do everything correctly. Inside of a marriage puts you in a position where you're either going to confront your deficiencies or you're going to run from them and cause destructions. Marriage does not conceal your issues, but marriage reveals your issues. I'm going to say it again. Marriage does not conceal your issues, but marriage reveals your issues. All right. If that makes sense, let me know if I'm making sense. Y'all a good class. I got 10 more minutes left, and I'm gonna let me get on these questions. All right. Should you keep friends of the opposite sex while being married? It is okay to have friends of the opposite sex while being married, as long as you know that lines are not blurred. It's okay for you to have friends of the opposite sex if you know that lines are not blurred, which means you have to also use common sense in relationships. So if you're married to a woman, fellas, you cannot be best friends with your ex that you dated for 25 years and saying we just homeboys or homegirls now. You don't want to have the illusion of something that's going on when nothing is going on. So you have to have wisdom and even common sense in your relationship to say, I'm not going to destroy my relationship because I want to be friends with somebody who we have pictures online at Six Flags and we dating and skating together. It's time for you to move on. Prom has gone. Life has changed. It's time for you to move on. All right. Hear me carefully. And when moving on, hear me carefully. And when moving on, it doesn't mean being rude, but it means setting parameters. I love you. I respect you. You're good people, but I'm married now in this relationship. So I'm asking you to respect my parameters. It does not mean acting like you don't know them. It does not mean acting weird or uncomfortable around them, but let them know that there's some parameters that should be in place. All right. Let me go. Let me get this other question. I'm sorry. I got there's a lot of comments. So give me a second. What's the next comment a question I wanted to give? Somebody else had a comment. All right. Question. You cannot, that's not a question, come ask it. You cannot marry someone who doesn't know how to communicate. Yes, you can, let me deal with the nuance of that. You can marry them, but there will always be frustration in the marriage because communication within the marriage is likened into an engine into a car. I don't care how beautiful the car is. If you remove the engine from the car, it's not going anywhere. So communication in a marriage is the engine or the heartbeat of the car, because if you can't talk to each other, then you're going to talk outside of each other, which is going to cause you to separate from each other. All right. Let's go. Let me see what we got now. Let me see what we got now. I love it. Love and confidence said, do not abuse that I'm sorry, because at that point it's losing its meaning. Correct. Sorry is nothing but an initial response to a changed behavior. Right? Let me say it again. Sorry is an initial response to a changed behavior, which means sorry gives you the ability to verbalize it. Then you must demonstrate it after you confess that you're sorry. Sorry is not an excuse for you to engage in the same behavior, but sorry is an acknowledgement of the behavior that you move forward to change the behavior. All right. I love it. I love this one. Comprehension in conversation. That is critical. That is key. Comprehension in conversation. I said it once and I said it again. When you are communicating, they teach you in psychology, when you're communicating, there is a sender and there is a receiver. All right. There's a sender. If y'all paying attention in psychology, they teach you there's a sender and there's a receiver. There's a sender and a receiver, which means when I send the message, there's someone who's going to receive the message. Let's put it this way. Let's give a practical analogy. In conversations, one person is the quarterback, the other is the receiver. One is the quarterback, the other is the receiver. One spouse is throwing the ball. It's the job of the other spouse to catch the ball. In communicating, one spouse is saying how they feel. It is the job of the other spouse to comprehend how they feel. All right. The problem in relationships that we have is that oftentimes we are not even listening to what the person is saying because we're more concerned in how we're going to respond to what they are saying. All right. Let me say it again. If that makes sense, let me know if that makes sense. We're not listening to what our spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend is saying, but we're sitting there trying to find a rebuttal to go against what they're saying instead of actually listening to what they're saying. All right. Listen, hear me careful on tonight. I love that. There we go. I like that. I like that comment. Listen to talk, not to understand. Listen to talk, not to understand. So what happens now is that when you have a communication with your spouse and your spouse says, honey, I don't want to eat fish every other day. I don't want to eat fish every other day. I don't want to eat fish every other day. Your spouse says clearly, I don't want to eat fish every other day. It is not your job as the receiver of it to say, your spouse said, I don't want you to cook for me. I don't like your cooking. They did not say that. They simply said, I want to change my palate. I want some variety. I don't want to eat fish every other day. But because you're the receiver, you're already offended. You're now, watch this, You're personalizing something through the filters of your emotion that your spouse never said. So now you're coming from a place of offense of how am I going to rebuttal what they're saying, than actually listening to what they're saying. So the job of communicating is not trying to figure out how am I going to respond, but trying to figure out what they are saying, which means even if I don't understand what they're saying, don't give your initial response, but ask them, so are you saying you don't want fish every other day? Or are you saying you're getting tired of me cooking fish? You have to have the patience and the capability to say, listen, I have to understand what you're saying because I'm filtering it through an emotional place. All right. All right. Yes, I love that. True moment. I had to learn that myself. Exactly. So oftentimes when me and Jasmine would have a conversation, I would say one thing and she would interpret to something else that I never even said. All right. So listen. So when the words left my lip, in between the words leaving my lip into her ears, she's already had emotion in her mind or what I was trying to say that I never said, which disrupted the whole conversation. All right. I like fish. I just don't want to eat fish every other day. All right. I like your cooking, but I just want something different. All right. So oftentimes, here we go in relationship, this men and women, oftentimes we personalize, watch this, what a person is saying, but we don't even respect what they are saying. This is my thought. This is my emotion. This is my feeling. How are you getting offended, about what I'm saying, but you're not even listening to what I'm saying? You have now intercepted my thought process. You made it into what you want to make it into. And now we spend 30, 40 minutes, hear me carefully, of arguing about things that's not the focus of what we should be arguing about. All right. There's also, if y'all never heard this, there is constructive arguments. There are constructive arguments. There are some arguments that should take place in order for you to get an understanding. But the problem is when we have bad communication, we start talking about things that we should not even be talking about. And what we should be talking about, we did not even solve. So if your issue is your spouse has a spending problem, instead of focusing on managing or budgeting money, you are now arguing about why they did not hang up their jacket, why they was out late, who they're talking to. Now you have a 5-hour conversation that has nothing to do with managing money. You go to bed angry, you wake up the next day, and the issue is still there. In relationship, we need to stop having these, what I like to call these circular conversations, like a pilot who is doing aviation. Sometimes a pilot will circle around the runway before they land because they need clearance, and that's happening in relationships. Sometimes we circle around in circular conversations. We never get to the basis of the argument. We never get to the root of the issue. Then we go to bed upset. You're not talking for 2 weeks, and this issue is not resolved because you're more concerned with not listening, but creating a rebuttal. All right. Y'all been a great class tonight. I love it. I love it. I love it on tonight. I'm about to go. Y'all been a great class tonight. I thank y'all. For those that jumped on, press that like, press that share button. Before I close out tonight, let me know if you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Put out Jordan at the bottom. But also, too, if you would like to ask a question before we go, drop any question in that comment section. Communication, money, marriage, singleness, divorce, sex, whatever you want to do, drop it in the comment section. I want to get it to you. Before we go, I'm going to drop this video. For those who do not have the book, it is called Marriage is Not for Everyone. www.kkhbook.com. I'm going to come back and answer any questions or comments y'all want to hop on after we watch the video first. Did you know that over 50% of marriages start at the altar but end up in the courtroom? Hi, my name is Kasin, the author of Marriage is Not for Everyone. In this book, I detail that some people should stay single, others should get married, and some people should never get married again. Please grab a copy of this book. I would rather for you to spend $10 on this book than spend $10,000 on alimony. Great. Thank you for those who jumped on tonight. I greatly appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, press that like, press that share button on tonight. The book is called Marriage is Not for Everyone. Marriage is Not for Everyone. You want to get a copy of that? It's $10 on ebook. And here we go. We got some questions. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's do. Y'all put in the chat section, put overtime. Y'all put overtime in the chat section. I got 10 more minutes. Ain't no game on tonight. I got 10 more minutes and we can get to overtime. All right. Does age difference matter in relationships? What's a good age gap? I love it. I love it. Y'all put overtime. We're going to do about 10 more minutes and then I'm going to get up out of here. Overtime. There we go. Overtime. Does age difference matters in relationship? What's a good age gap? Listen, give me an example of the age gap. Give me an example of the age gap before I answer this. Give me an example of the age gap. Overtime. Y'all great class. Overtime, overtime. Give me an example. What's the age difference? What's the age difference? All right. Overtime. Listen, www.kkhbook.com. Grab your copy of that book, Marriage is Not for Everyone. Let's do this overtime. Y'all got any more questions or comments? Y'all drop in. I got 10 more. Ben said, can't be my mother's age. I love it. All right. 10-year age gap. That's doable. That's doable. That's doable. 10-year age gap. That's doable. I love it. 10-year age gap. That's doable. All right. Any other people got age gap? What do y'all think is an inappropriate age gap for people to be together? All right. What's the inappropriate age gap? What's the inappropriate age gap? All right. I'm waiting on you, Miss Shanice. Give me the age gap. 10-year-old age gap. 25, 35. All right. That's deep. All right. Let's go back to it. Let's go. I'm going to put a question on the screen for some of y'all, but 10 years is doable. Does an age gap difference matter in a relationship? Let me deal with the first part of the question because it's two-parted. Does an age gap matter in a relationship? Yes, it does. All right. Age gap difference does matter. All right. When you're dealing with the age gap, we're all in different stages of our lives. All right. We are different in different stages of our lives. Hear me careful on today. And the reason I say it's hard to answer this completely because you have to deal with the metrics of it. So, for example, in most situations, if I'm 30, 31, I'm going to go up the tree. If I'm 30, 31, and I'm dating a girl who's 21, who's in college, in most situations, not all, this is subjective, so y'all don't kill me. In most situations, not all, her mindset is going to be totally different than mine. All right? The same way, if you do a 20-year age gap, if I'm a 25-year age gap, if I'm 35 and I'm dating a man who's 60, all right? If I'm a female, I'm 35, I'm dating a man who's 60. At that stage of his life, he has to worry about his life insurance. He has to worry about his savings. He has to worry about if I die today, who's going to take over my estate? He has to worry about, hear me carefully, his diabetes, his health. He has to worry about what he's going to lead to his grandchildren, all right? But when you're 35, your focus in the morning may be what I'm going to put on IG, or 25, all right? So there are different stages of life, all right? So when I was 21, 22, my focus was getting a college degree. My focus was making money, getting a job. Then when I became 31, I started thinking about real estate and investment plans and how to build a family, all right? Now, when you get 40, you think different. You get 50, you think different. You get 60, you think differently. But this is the flip side of it. Hear me carefully. If I'm about to throw the curveball, age does not denote maturity, all right? Age does not denote maturity. If y'all agree with that, put it in the comment section. Age does not denote maturity. All right. So this is why you can be 40 years old, married to a 55-year-old, and they're still childish in their behavior. Right. This is why I tell people all the time, in relationships, you have to do what works for you. All right. And let me give you a disclaimer. I don't know who all on here tonight because I want y'all to get it twisted. I'm not saying that a 17-year-old, 16-year-old girl should be dating a 25, 35, 40-year-old man. I'm not saying that. All right. We having grown people conversation tonight. I'm saying once you become grown and you're out in the world, 25, 30, 35, 40, you have to make decisions that fits what you want to do. All right. Because maturity does not come with age. All right. Maturity comes with making better decisions, assessing what's in my life. So hear me carefully on tonight. I want y'all to hear me. All right. She has a great question. So hear me carefully. If you're 31 and you meet a man that is 43 and it fits where you are in your life and it works for you, it's okay to marry that person. But you have to ask yourself, does it work for me? All right. Hear me carefully on today. Does it work for me? Not does it work for my family? Not does it work for my girlfriends? Not does it work for my homeboys? Hear me carefully, because this is also to this reality. Let's deal with the psychology side of it. Based upon your life experiences, how you were raised, and how quickly you was raised dictates your mindset. So there's some women, hear me carefully on today. There's some women, I'm 36 years old. There's some women who are 25 that I can hold a conversation with, and there are other women who are 25 that I cannot hold a conversation with. Maturity is not based upon age, it's based upon how you ascertain information, how you make decisions, how you navigate during your life. If they help you out, so Shanice, let me know. Y'all going crazy in these comments. Hold on, let me see what y'all talk about. Y'all going crazy. Exactly. Here we go. I think if they were a child while you were darn near grown, that's unacceptable. Correctly. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying a 16-year-old, 17-year-old girl dating a 30 or 40-year-old man. I'm not saying that. We have an adult conversation. What I'm saying is that maybe somebody here online tonight, you're 25, you're 30, and there's a man that's attracted to you. You have great chemistry, or also female, you're connected to. They're 10 years older than you. Hear me carefully. You have to figure out what fits you. Can I, because this is the reality, can I hold a conversation with you? All right. That's outside of what's on media takeout or the shade room. Can you intellectually stimulate me? We're gonna go here tonight. Because oftentimes, this is the truth. When dealing with the parameters of intimacy or sex, your CPU system is your mind. If your body is a computer, your mind is your CPU unit. All right. It is the place where it stimulates your whole entire body. All right. This is why when you are sexually involved, you're in love with someone, you're intimate. Even studies have shown the same dopamine response you get in your brain from intimacy, from sex, from love is the same dopamine response people get when they are addicted to drugs. It all starts in your mind. So how can I be stimulated by you if I can't even hold a conversation with you? And this has nothing to do with age. This has to do with maturity. So there may be somebody here online. You may be young, but the people in your age group level of maturity is not a turn on. It is a turn off. You have to ask yourself, hear me carefully, is the people around me on my level of thinking, behavior, and capacity? If they are not, it's nothing wrong. If you're 25 or 30 and you date someone who is 35 or 40, you have to figure out what fits you. All right. There we go. Yeah, this is for grown folk. This overtime. I tell y'all put in the chat. Overtime. Y'all put overtime in the chat. Put overtime in the chat. Exactly. No R. Kelly movement. No R. Kelly movement. Exactly. There's still parameters for age. You should not be messing with entertaining kids. You should not be entertaining or messing with kids. Here we go. All right. Any more questions before I go? Overtime. One more question. Let me see what I got. Did I miss? If I missed any one question, let me know. All right. Give me a second. Any more questions before I go? Here we go. All right. Bam. Do you think at any point, if an established relationship, that either party should have a reasonable time to be home? If so, why or why not? I love it. Do you think at any point of an established relationship that either party should have a reasonable time to be home? If so, why or why not? Here we go. We're about to get into trouble tonight. Once again, this is subjective to your relationship. All right. It's subjective to your relationship. All right. Here we go. This is the reality. This is reality. We have to deal on the basis of common sense. Number one, we have to deal with the idea of respect. We have to deal with the idea of respect. We have to deal with the idea of respect. I'm gonna give you an analogy that I'm doing relationship part. You have to deal with the idea of respect, right? So when I stayed with my mother in college, even though I was grown, I have to have respect because I was staying in my mother's and father's house, which means I can't come inside of the house 4, 5, 6 in the morning doing whatever I want to do because it's a matter of respect. All right. Oh, I love it. Tony Braxton said it. I just heard this. I forgot about this song. Tony Braxton said, "Love should have brought you home last night." Hear me carefully. What is outside of the house that keeping you so preoccupied that you don't want to be home? That's the question we need to ask. Tony Braxton said, "Love should have brought you home last night." What's out there that you can't find here? You got to ask yourself that. Number two, it's a level of respect. It's a level of respect, which means as a man, I have to be honest. I cannot come home when the bird chirping and the lights are now off in the streets and sunrise, getting into bed and not have the reality that my wife is going to question me or my girlfriend is going to question me. Because this is the reality. We got to be honest, fellas. We are good at doing stuff to women that we would die if they did the same thing to us. All right? So you have to deal with the respect parameter. Number three, is this a consistent behavior pattern or this is based upon an occasional situation? All right? We have to deal with this side of it because some people are crazy in relationships and they're about to go outside of their mind because they're crazy and they're insecure. So hear me carefully. If your spouse said, "I'm going out bowling with my homegirls," and she leaves at 9 o'clock, you can't be mad at 11 because she's not home. You have to use common sense. Now, let me say it again. If your spouse is going out bowling, male or female, they leave at 9, you can't hit them at 10:45 talking about why you're not home. All right? You need to address your insecurities. You need to address why you don't trust them outside of the house. You need to address why do you have an issue with them not being around? Because if you don't have any evidence with accusation, that's an insecurity. But if you have evidence that you have not addressed, that means immaturity. You need to address your real issue before you allow them to go outside again instead of making an assumption. All of these are subjective based upon what's going on in your relationship. Because this is reality. Married people know this. Some married people want to break from each other. So they don't mind their spouse going out, hanging out at night. But once I said again, it's okay for you to hang out. But the question is this a consistent pattern of behavior? If it's a consistent pattern of behavior, you have to ask yourself, what's outside of there that you don't find in here? That makes sense? Let me know. All right, here we go. Miss Dixon says, "We operate on schedules in this house order, including our young adults who live home. It's respect and safety." Correct. Also, too, safety. I love it. Because when you're outside, people worry about you. We don't know if you killed. We don't know if you've been robbed. We don't know if you've been shot. I need to know about your safety. Here go communication. So even if I'm staying out late, call your girl, call your boy on FaceTime and say, "Hey, this is where I am." Text them. "I'm going to be on the way. I'm leaving in 30 minutes. Do not leave. I learned this even in my relationship. When you don't communicate, you leave room for speculation. When you don't communicate, you leave room for speculation. You may not be doing anything wrong, but if you don't communicate what's going on, you give your spouse the opportunity to fill in the blanks because you have not communicated what's going on. All right, I love it. Y'all put overtime, y'all. Overtime. Does your spouse circle matter who they hang with? Absolutely. Absolutely. Y'all put that in the comment section. Absolutely. Does your spouse circle matter? Yes, it do matter. Absolutely. All right. Why is that? Why is that? Why is that? Why is that? For some of you that missed off the first part of it, you have to safeguard your relationship. Everybody that's around you is not happy for you. Everyone that's around you does not have the maturity to respect your relationship. So why does that matter? Let's use the analogy of being out late. If you're hanging out with a group of people, of individual, male or female, that does not respect your relationship, and y'all are out, y'all go bowling, let's use the bowling analogy, and it's 12 o'clock, and you say, I got to get home, and you roll with your girlfriend or your homeboy. Then they say, you say, I got to get home. I told my spouse I'll be home at 12:30. Then they say, man, girl, forget that. We're going to start at 2 in the morning. I ain't trying to take you home. Now, because you are connected to someone who does not respect the parameters of your relationship, you decide to connect with them. They're going to make you have issues that you could have avoided because you know who you're dealing with. There are some people in relationship that you're cool with. When you get married in a relationship, you need to learn how to love them from a distance. I love you, you my people, we good together, but I know your behavior is going to cause me to be in divorce court and have alimony. So if I'm going to put myself in position to lose all I have to kick it with you, I'm not going to do it. Because it's reality. People will destroy your relationship and then get in a relationship act as if they don't even know you. Now you're single, miserable, and they're happy and moved on. All right. Y'all a good class. Overtime. Absolutely. Overtime. All right. I love that. Megan Stevens, great one. Show me your friends and I will show you your future. Man, all right. So there's some people you have to be around. There's your family members and friends. You can love them, but hey, they're not good for your relationship. They're not what you need for your relationship to flourish and to grow. Because either their immaturity or them wanting to be in your position can cause toxicity in your relationship, whether intentional or unintentionally. You have to have the wisdom to know what's the difference. Who is around me? Who actually cares about my relationship? Who is jealous? Hear me carefully. Y'all don't want to hear this. Who's around me that not only wants what I have, but who I have? I'm going to say that again. Who is around me that not only wants what I have, but who I have? Which means their issue is not just that you're with somebody, but the person that you're with, they actually want them, or they're the prototype of the person that they have lost before. So all of their advice, all of their energy is going to be jaded because they really want you, what you have and who you have. So even when they give, hear me carefully, even when they give advice, you have to filter it through the lens of who is this coming from and why they are saying it. Because sometimes people can plant little seeds that doesn't make sense now, but they flourish into a big branch tree that affects your relationship in the end. Bingo. Okay. All right. Listen, any more questions? I got 5 minutes and I'm done. Listen, you'll have a copy of this book, www.kkhbook.com. Ebooks tonight, $10. Ebooks, $10. Ebooks, $10. You can download it on your phone tonight, www.kkhbooks.com. Get you a copy of the book. For those who have a copy of the book, they can tell you that they have been blessed by it. This book is for everybody, men, women, boys, and girls, grown women, whoever who needs this copy, married, single, divorced, those sinking marriage. This book is for everybody. It will bless your soul. www.kkhbooks.com. It is a great book that deals with practicality, and whatever relationship status you are in, I want to make sure and pray that you have a productive and a relationship, great relationship. If this bless you on tonight, press that like, press that share button, send it to somebody on tonight. And even on tonight, if you learn something, you love the teaching, and something bless you, tag me to a post. It don't take you no time or energy to do that. Tag me to a post, say I learned something, it blessed me, or share this with a family member or a friend, because we want to make sure that whatever relationship status you're in, you have a healthy relationship. I want to see people happy. I want to see people blessed. I don't want you to be miserable. I don't want to see you in divorce court. I don't want to see you paying alimony. I don't want to see you dealing with domestic issues, but I want you to be blessed in all that you do. My prayer this year has been at Redemption that people have healthy relationships, have healthy marriages, have healthy lives. I like to be around positive people. I don't want you to be miserable in the state that you're in. Even somebody watching tonight, you say, hey, marriage ain't for me. That's not my thing. I want to be single. That's fine. You have to figure out for yourself what works for you. it is not for everybody. There's someone that is not designed for marriage here on tonight. And if you're seeking marriage, listen, it is something that could be a beautiful thing, but you must learn how to work it within the parameters of the person that God brings in your life. I pray that you will have a blessed night. I pray that you have a blessed week. Jumping on next Tuesday. Marriage is not for everyone. Let your homeboy, let your homegirls know on tonight that you learned something. Let them know tonight we had a vulnerable and transparent conversation. If there are any topics you want to discuss going forward, inbox me, send it to me, let us know. We can get into it. This is rated G for grown people. This is not a little kids class. So we want to deal with every nuance of relationship because we want to make sure that you're healthy and productive from a spiritual side, from a psychological side, from an emotional side, from financial side. We want to make sure that you are doing great in your life. Y'all have a blessed night. Have a blessed week. Listen, if y'all want to bless me this week with some gas cards, y'all send me some gas cards over. That's my only word of the Lord tonight. The word of the Lord said, bless the man of God with gas cards because gas is getting ridiculous. I'm about to start back riding bikes. It's getting crazy outside of here. But listen, y'all have a great night. Have a great week. www.kkhbooks.com. Grab an ebook that's $10. And I pray that God will bless you abundantly this week. And I pray that everyone will have a great relationship going forward. If y'all want to bless me, there we go. Yeah, y'all want to bless the man of God. That's my prophecy on tonight. Bless the man of God with some gas cards, and you're gonna walk in overflow. I just get y'all bless me with some gas cards on tonight. Gas is getting ridiculous. By the time my thing goes about $35, $40, I put the gas handle back where it belongs. I stopped. The $40 hurt my soul and ain't even filled up yet. Y'all keep me in prayer. Y'all send us some gas cards. Y'all want to bless me on tonight. Listen, y'all have a great night. Have a great week. The best is yet to come. And also be reminded this week that no weapon formed against you shall be able to prosper. You are blessed in everything that you do. God's hand is on you. You cannot fail in this season because great is he that is in you than he that's in the world. Have a great week. Have a great time. I pray that you are blessed. 6:35, Lord help me. Oh Lord, listen. I can't do a 6:35. That will hurt my soul. That will hurt my soul. That will hurt my soul. And I'm glad I did not get a truck like I was planning to do a year or two ago. I'm glad I'm still in my Charger. That will hurt my soul. Before we go, does anyone pay over $100 in gas to fill up your tank? Anyone pays over $100 in gas? I just got to ask a question. I'm being nosy tonight before I go. Does anyone on tonight put in the chat how much you paying gas? Does anyone on here pay over $100 in gas? 6:35 is ridiculous. You must be out of state. You driving out of state right now? Let me know if you're driving out of state right now. I know you're traveling around the world, but let me know if you're driving out of state right now. What's the gas outside of Georgia? She said 83, 40. You pay $90 in gas? Oh, God bless you. Jesus the Christ. I didn't know that. God. Okay, I thought so. Every refill, $1,000. You driving trucks, right? Yeah, $1,000 every refill. Yeah. Listen, I could be a truck driver right now, brother. I'm praying for you, brother. I'm praying for you. Oh, it's $5 in Maryland. Oh, you okay? Okay, so it's $6 in Cali. Okay, it's $6 in Cali. Yeah, in Georgia is about near $5. Yeah, I thought you was out of town, but yeah, listen, that's crazy. $5 in Maryland. Yeah. Put that BMW up, yeah. That's premium gas. Put it up. Put it in the shelter. Y'all have a good night. God bless. See y'all next week. Press that like, press that share button. I pray that y'all are blessed. See y'all next week. Have a wonderful night.